All right, everybody. This is lesson reaction number 9 coming to you from a long time ago because Sophia Reynoso is leading throwing lessons. She was there just showing us how she takes roll every day. Something to remember about the throwing classes are that I don't lead them. I let other coaches that are extremely capable. Sophia is more capable than I am actually in leading a throwing lesson because she's certified as a not a strength coach. It's a not a personal trainer. It is like the people that wrap your feet, wrap your ankles, wrap your feet. It's leaving my brain right now, but she's gotten to more school than I have, and she is able to help these kids in their pretty much prehab exercises. If people have sore arms, she knows how to deal with those. But in these throwing classes, the kids are learning drills. They're learning exercises to strengthen and engage their back muscles and not just their shoulders. So basically, the structures that support the shoulder and elbow are huge in maintaining health in throwers.
So just making sure we're set before we even start that drill. Okay, again, there's a lot of time to do these reps, so don't try to do 100 of them. Take your time, get set, nice and slow, separate, throw it. If you only get 5 reps, that's better than you getting like super quick, low quality 30 reps.
And make sure we're crossing on this one. Okay.
Daisy Munoz, who
do you remember how this one goes? Okay, good.
Play professionally in Mexico. Helped us out in lessons closer to summertime, I believe. So these lesson reaction videos are just like in a bank for me to pick out of. And I haven't wanted to do them because it's been Thanksgiving and then Christmas and then New Year's. And here we are in January. So we're getting back to it. But like I was saying, these are some of the strength exercises. Well, with crossover symmetry, we've talked about these a lot. If you're new to watching these videos, these are crossover symmetry bands, and they not only get you warmed up or have the ability to warm you up. So they're like on this card that the kids are looking at that show the exercises. I believe they're on the activate side, which is for before you throw. If you flip that card over, so if you buy their kit, it comes with like a card they can hang on like a chain link fence, which is super cool because most of these kids are at a field where they have a chain link fence. They either are trying to activate or warm up for their throw, or they're trying to throw harder, get stronger. And the flip side of that card is a strength exercises, just like quick 5-6 exercises that take them less than 10 minutes to go through. But if they're doing them every day, that kind of stuff adds up.
10 reps total. So our arms are going to be bent here, straight up, and then we're going to be nice and slow and controlled down. Okay? So starting like your arms in like a W, like this, right? Up. And nice.
I think the hardest part about some of these kids doing these exercises is exactly what Daisy's talking about, is that if it's too heavy for them, they need to scoot up. And if there's not a coach there that's helping them understand what's too heavy, like if the band is pulling their bodies forward and they can't actually activate the right muscles, they're just practicing the wrong thing. So a lot of times these kids' cores aren't strong enough for them to stand up straight while holding a band. So that in itself is good to just practice that body awareness of understanding, okay, how should I be standing to get an athletic stance? There's like step-by-step things that our coaches are trained to look for. Like, can they be balanced with no load or no ball, no weight, no movement? Okay. Do they know what balance is? Where's their head in relation to their feet? Then let's add some stimulus like a load or a band. Then what do they do? Now let's add some movement. Fielding a ground ball, actually throwing after fielding that ground ball. There's lots of steps that that many kids, because they've been doing it since they were 5, 6, 7 years old, we take for granted those steps and how aware we need to be of our body in each one of those building block steps. Those kids will rush past it and then they won't know why their arm hurts or why they got hurt or why they can't feel the ball but their teammate can. And it's kind of understanding that we can't rush past steps. I don't know what's going on with this hair right here, but we're just gonna, it came out. All right.
Like down here. So I just need you to get it up top here. Okay. One more. 1, 2, 3. Throw.
Good old fashioned towel drill is what they're working on with the 1, 2, 3 drill. 1 is step, 2 is hips, 3 is throw over the top. The towel is cool because it acts as kind of like the extension, or we're trying to have a whipping motion with our arm and not just one motion over the top. We want our arm to unravel as it throws, creating a whipping sensation.
So a lot of us are starting up straight and tall here, and then when we go to step, we're going here. You see how much of a difference that's changing? Then when I go to throw, that's gonna make a big difference in my throw. Okay. So when we start, and even with my station, make sure we're bent knees here. So when we're stepping, we're staying level. Does that make sense? Same steps as with my drill. So it's.
So I'm watching this. I can hear like helicopters overhead. Today is January 10th, 2025. Some historic and terrifying fires in LA are happening, where they started a couple days ago with the high winds. The wind is silent right now, so my windows or my door's been open. But it's been a little bit scary over here. And since this video is going to be posted to YouTube and available forever, that's what's going on today. You can hear the helicopters, hopefully getting some water to those areas.
Make sure, because this is like mimicking, when we go to fill the ball, right? And I feel it and I go to throw, it's that whole thing of like, when I come here, I don't want to stand up, right?
Those look so good right now. Carlos, the videographer,
How do you get through lessons sometimes?
is going back and forth between the throwing session and the regular lesson session.
It would be nice if candy was supplied by the boss, but she's busy throwing out the first pitch. Can't go buy candy for people.
It's funny that on days where Carlos is here, I'm normally at lessons being filmed. Like, I want my drills filmed and videographer is there when I'm there. But one big thing to note is that Amanda Fama, who's got the sour worms in her hand, is there every single day, whereas I'm only there twice a week, sometimes less if I've got different events or work things that I'm trying to do online. So I know that on social media or online, it looks like I'm the one that's like super serious and getting kids in those positions and teaching. Sometimes Amanda gets to do those funny videos with the sour gummy worms, but on the days that I'm there, she's more of like support staff, getting the t-shirts ready, doing the new lesson cards. New lesson cards are like, if somebody is new to lessons, we give them a recommended time slot since our lessons are group. So like, for instance, in this group here, these are more beginners and younger. So we wouldn't put even an 8 or 9 year old there without kind of some of the same ability levels. And as I say that, we've got some better kids right here. Just shows that sometimes we can put people in the same group, but we will have smaller groups in the same lesson. What we try to do is kind of put those same levels together. What we sometimes run into, if you're like a fellow lesson giver or instructor like us, the scheduling is really, really tough. It's tough to keep up with all-stars, with rec, with travel, with high school, teams going dark, and people having availability on days that they didn't before, and the list goes on. But we try our best, put people in classes that are challenging enough but not overwhelming. That part, I think, might be the more difficult than actually showing up and teaching, because that just happens. Like, that information is in me. Even like lesson planning, we can plan on the fly. We can input a drill for one group that we didn't do in the last group because they are different abilities, or some like problems are coming up that other groups didn't have. So that part's not the hard part. The hard part is just the organization, which I think I had no idea would be the issue in my first couple years of doing this. I just thought, I'm just going to lose interest. But it's more than just losing interest. It's losing like the drive and the motivation to continue to build the business side versus just continue to show up every day, which is hard enough.
You're waiting. You're early, right? So that's the beauty of timing. Work on it. Ready? There we go.
Cade is one of our pretty consistent baseball dudes. He's fun to be around, especially because he seems not to care that he's one of the only guys there. He just is a baseball dude. Loves getting reps, working it.
Last two right here. What are you doing back there, dude? Scoot. Come on, right here.
These guys are getting mirror reps, so it's kind of cool to see them working together. Their reps behind aren't dependent on the person in front, like whether they miss it or whatever. It's really just the timing that we're working on.
3 steps. We're going to see how this translates into a manifestation. Stay low. Head on the same level. Show the ball. Move your glove out of the way. Keep the ball ready for the second baseman. 3, push the ball. We don't want to rear back and pitch it and spin it. No spin. Push. Make it easy.
Stay low. Show ball. Show the ball. Push the ball.
Show the ball.
These concepts come up over and over again. We just did underhand feeds the last couple weeks.
What are they? So we're going to catch the ball, right?
So anytime I'm like over this concept right now because I spent the last week doing it and getting angry at kids for not listening and not caring about underhand feeds. It's one of those things where it's maddening because it's just not a very tough skill. Like, they're tossing the ball. But point of lessons is that we want to make them efficient and tossing it. Like, this is starting a double play. Like,
if you're the second baseman, okay, 3
one.
Steps, stay low. If I stand up and do this, are you like?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we stay low. I'm showing.
This concept is maddening as a coach to teach.
I'm gonna push it so you can see the ball the whole time. This is what you guys are both doing. Fielding it and go like this. Can you see it? Not really. My leg's in the way, right? So stay low, open up, and toss. So it's nice and easy. I want to make it easy for you to catch it. Stop hiding with your leg. Okay? Hands out. Stay low.
Let's
open,
see.
Go. Okay, that's really close, except for we didn't follow the last one. Right? From here, straight forward. Push it.
The thing that we battle here is body awareness and also focus, because a lot of the kids aren't excited by underhand feeds. Like, a lot of kids will focus on throwing on the run because it's cool and they get to do something cool at the end. But even if they get this concept perfectly, it's like, oh, okay, I just tossed it. Great.
I can just go straight forward. So when I
It's like you've got two games that you're playing. You're playing the teach them the skill game. You're also playing the keep them intrigued game. It's challenging.
Last two. That's crazy. That's insane. That's like harder to do that. You guys are thinking a lot.
Yay.
Do you know what you're doing down there?
I took a video, or I take video all the time because kids don't know what they don't know. They don't know. What am I trying to say? They don't know when they're pulling the ball back. So let's see. I have a lot of video of throws. Oh, here we go. Let's see if I can. Did you guys get that? Yeah, that's from this week. Just underhand. I'm going to mute it because it might be confusing for the camera, but two of them are going. Oh, I didn't mute it apparently. No. Don't worry, I'll get this eventually. And she goes back, can't help it. So the concept we're trying to teach is that the ball, once you make contact, it doesn't go into the negative move, and then you just continue with your feet. But very, very difficult, apparently. Even though it's boring and easy. Maddening. Also, one of the tough things about lessons, not that they're lessons for me, we've been doing them for so long that it's like riding a bike, right? Like you get there and you just go. But sometimes I have to be reminded that it might be someone's only lesson or their first lesson, or it's not one of many, in other words. So if I lose my temper, it's not even losing my temper. Let me put it this way. If I get too hyper-focused or detail-oriented on them paying attention, and it's almost like speaking to a losing battle or speaking to something that the kids that are there and they're motivated and they're there for the right reasons and they're going to be playing softball for a while, those kids, I'm like wasting their time. And then the other kids, maybe one or two of them will like, oh, a light bulb goes off. But then the other 3 or 4 of them, their parents are just upset that they didn't get the reps and I was just talking the whole time. That is challenging as well. And I say that at the risk of those parents hearing this, but we never just talk to the kids. Even in lessons that I've observed with Fama leading or Naya leading or one of the other coaches leading, there's so much that goes into getting kids' attention or getting kids to trust you or getting kids to want to go for it and feel comfortable enough to do that. I never feel like we're just wasting time ever. And it might look like that from the outside, but in reality, our goals for these kids are to, I love the word equip them with the ability to play defense better, like with the actual physical skills and knowledge of how to continue to grow. And then also equip them with the ability to figure it out. Like that's to me, that's a mindset piece, not just a belief in yourself, but like a belief in the fact that there's a process.
Eye contact. What's another one? Adjustments. What's the last one? Hustle. We got that right on the first try. Good job, you guys. Okay, second question. Why do we have those expectations? Why do we have those? We can get better. Any other reason?
Yeah. In some lessons we do note cards, like we'll call it a mentality station or just a note card station, where we get to touch on some of the conversations that I want to have with every single kid. But because of the hour time limit on each of these classes, it's tough to have those conversations with everyone. So I have them reflect on note cards. We'll do 3-4 questions. They'll complete those questions in a couple rotations. And it's good because we'll review it at the end. Maybe not every kid gets that one-on-one attention, but between updates in the beginning of class, between adjustments and drills, between wall ball and the competitions, we hope to have touch points with each of the kids every single lesson.
I'm going to give you a live ball. Everybody that receives a live ball, you guys are practicing your prep, going through your entire ground ball, getting elbows up with the ball in the bucket. The person behind you is going to be off center.
It's pretty cool. This video, you see the span of the ages and the different abilities and skills that we're teaching. And you're also seeing the different ways that we talk to the kids. So like with a throwing class, slower cadence, focused on preparing your arm, understanding your arm and your body. Next class was beginners or just younger kids. Faster pace because we're trying to, keep them involved, keep them excited. Then we're moving to the 7:30 class, which is like 12 and under to 14 and under. Can talk a little bit more in depth on the why behind each drill.
To that, we're going to do 3 short, quick steps to the side so that we can get our eyes to the side and get through the ball. Okay, a lot of times when you're doing this drill, you're just head on and the ball's coming straight at you and we're kind of landing on top of it last second. Okay, so when you're doing this, your hands are going to be out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Get to the side, get through it. Make sense? If we can get to the side and see where the ball's going to hop, we can make those adjustments with our feet. Okay? Shortstop. We're shortstops today. Okay? We're going to go shortstop, throws, double play, shortstop. Okay. So first thing.
All right, here's the underhand feeds again. Not sure if they are going to get it a little bit quicker than the youngers.
Side, swipe across, throw. Okay? Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Lefties.
So here we progress the drill. We're not just doing the underhand feeds, we're also completing the double play.
You are not warm, so we don't care about your throw. The first round is all going to be about footwork and getting your hands up in time. Okay?
Yeah, with the youngers, we don't shy away from having them do tosses to each other, but in some ways it'll slow down the drill because the actual action of catching the ball is difficult for some of them. And it turns into a little bit of a safety issue with multiple drills going on at the same time.
To avoid her, okay? Catch, swipe across, throw. Got it? Let's go. Messed it up for everybody. Okay. What is mirroring? Did anybody listen to that? Nobody knows what mirroring is. Wait.
Ay.
Copying. What station here are we mirroring? Which station here?
Just a random aside. Not digging my outfit. I feel like I need to tan my legs or something.
can tell you right now.
The bubble in the back of my hat is annoying me.
I'm not going to point to people individually because people are going to get their feelings hurt.
Also, not sure if you guys can hear Benjamin in the background. He just woke up from a nap and he is now outside.
Okay? I've been doing this a very long time. And like right now when I'm standing in this spot when nobody's paying attention, it sucks. It doesn't really suck for me, but it sucks for you because you're wasting your time.
Oh, here we go with the wasting time.
So we can either continue this and waste your parents' money, or we can like turn it up a little bit and pay attention. Okay? We have to. Or else, like, literally, what's the point? What's the point of doing this drill?
I don't know how many times I've said this in these videos because I feel like I think it all the time. In the time that I started doing clinics and lessons, the language I was using was like, hey, you have to work, you have to grind, you have to get out there, you have to do the reps, do it at home. That has shifted drastically because the kids are going to practices. They are. I'm not sure if they're actually doing the work at home because what has taken the place of them just being at home and being on Netflix or being at home and just hanging out, what's taking the place is everybody has practice like 5-6 days a week, especially in Southern California where there's not weather issues and it's really kind of a standard for kids to start travel ball by 10 and under. They're all on teams where they're doing team practices, and during the week they're also doing a defense lesson and a catching lesson and a pitching lesson and a speed and agility and weightlifting. Not to say that they don't benefit from each of these things, and not to say that there's not a place for them, because I truly think that my lessons have value, but the conversation has changed to quality reps or making the most out of the time that you have, because a lot of kids when they get to practice are kind of like brain dead. Like their bodies are there, but their minds are not. The focus is not. So while you have a good number of kids that are definitely better and more skilled than kids were a decade ago, 2 decades ago when I was still playing. 2 decades ago? Yeah, I'm not that old, but that's when I was a teenager. But you're going to have a lot of the same kids that wouldn't be as skilled are still not mentally there, or they're still not going to make it to that elite level that they say that they want because they either get burned out or they aren't putting in the quality reps that they need to. So even though the promise is there for all of them, like, hey, if you do this, if you practice, you're going to get a college scholarship. The reality is that the same number of people or the same players are actually getting those college scholarships because the quality has to be there in order for the promise to be true. Except we're finding a vast majority of these athletes are then wasting their time, which it's not a complete waste because hopefully they're getting some of the life lessons that sports gets to impart on them. The only hope is that they aren't bitter afterwards if they didn't get the lesson, like, hey, you need to have quality in these reps. Remains to be seen. In the next decade, we hope to find those lessons out.